Welcome back, savages. I haven't even turned on my lights yet. Running a little bit behind. Yeah, we've got a solid green day today from what I remember last I checked. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching this live stream, because I don't live stream all the time anymore. But this is hopefully I'll get back at it. So this is my push to get back to doing nightly live streams. So bear with me here. We are going to be looking at, in this video, we are going to be looking at the ETC hard fork that happened Saturday and what the aftermath is and what we can expect in the not too distant future, and you know, GPUs and what's going to happen to the hash rate and network difficulty and all that cool stuff. That is basically what we're going to talk about. If you're not aware, the ETC Thanos upgrade went live on mainnet on Saturday. I don't remember the exact time, but it was in the afternoon. It was like 3 or 4. I think 3, I believe, my time. It was at block 11,700,000. And we watched it live, and everything seemed to work perfectly. It just switched right over, and there was no big deal. It didn't seem like it was a big deal. There was probably a lot going on in the background, but it seemed to go off without a hitch. So that is good to see. I like seeing that instead of like chaos whenever a project's fork. You know, it's never good to see that. But basically, this was a fork to implement ECIP 1099, Ethereum Classic Improvement Proposal. It was written by Luke Williams, and this was after like a lot of discussions on how to secure the ETC network against 51% attacks, because they had been attacked, I think, 3 times this year already. And while, you know, the 51% thing is a function of blockchain technology, proof of work, it's a little bit dangerous because there can be an attack by... The result of the attack could lead to exchanges being, you know, basically losing crypto because they'll have their coins on the wrong chain, basically is the way to look at it. And it's like the double spend attack, or the double spend aspect of the 51% attack is what is actually the biggest problem, because it can affect the project's confidence in the market and confidence overall, and then also their value can oftentimes it'll decrease because they've been attacked. So something to look at. And they implemented ECIP 1099, and that was the main part of, or the main thing that happened on Saturday with the fork. There was a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of developer discussions. This 1099 codename Thanos was by Luke Williams, and it was accepted in, I think, September of this year. It was created in September. I think that it was actually accepted in the same month. So the overall main focus of this ECIP is improved security against 51% attacks. It was part of the development community coming up, well, actually the overall community coming up with a security plan for ETC to protect them against those 51% attacks. There was originally a discussion on switching to SHA-3, but I don't know if that's still in the plan or not. It doesn't look like it's on their roadmap at all. Now, I think that this only really shows like what they're up to right now. I don't know if it really goes over like what's planned. I mean, other than this little blurb right here, but it doesn't really mention anything about changing the algorithm. I think that from what I can gather, just looking briefly into this, it seems like this was the end goal, right? Was to distribute the hash rate across lower memory capacity GPUs, like the 3 gig GPUs. And that'll be that way because of what they did with extending the epoch times from 30,000 blocks to 60,000 blocks and decreasing the DAG size. It's going to be this way for like 4 years, to where you'll be able to mine, from what I understand, you'll be able to mine it for like, maybe not 4 years. Might be messing it up a little bit here. Let's go over here to the DAG size calculator and go to ETC. So 3 gig, looks like 3 gig is going to be done. Oh, it was 4 gig is what I was thinking of. Okay, so the 3 gigs are going to be done around July of 2022. So even on a 3 gig GPU, you still have more than, well, was that 1.5 years, roughly, right? A little bit more than 1.5 years. So that's not bad, you know, for a 3 gig GPU. And if you have the 4 gig, then you're looking a really long ways, 5 full years here. So that is one of the reasons that they did this fork, to distribute the hash rate. Another reason is to get NiceHash out of the picture, so you can't rent ETCHASH from NiceHash at the moment anyway. So that kicked ASICs off the network as well, because if you go to miningpoolstats.stream, you don't have that. What sometimes this looks like, whenever you go to miningpoolstats.stream and click on a project, up here you'll see like unknown hash rate. Sometimes that can indicate, you know, ASICs and unknown mining pools and things like that, and you don't see that. It was there prior to the fork, and now you don't see that. So that's another plus there. So they kicked off ASICs, looks like. They stopped NiceHash support with this fork, and they also increased the hash rate distribution, decentralization across a wider range of hardware, you know, lower capacity GPUs and things like that. This was solid. I like that. I like this direction that the project is headed, if they stick with this GPU mining centric, you know, ethos, I guess you could say. So pretty cool, pretty cool. So there's 3 different ways to prepare for the upgrade. You had to, now this is already passed, this happened on Saturday, but you had to upgrade the miner software, and I'm getting hit up in, like, on direct messages and Discord and stuff about some of the miners were working fine before the fork, and now the hash rate is really low. And all I can say is that you need to look at what drivers your miner requires, because that's one thing. Is there's some miners, like Phoenix Miner, I think is really specific. You have to get a specific version or a range. You can't just go and grab the latest, is what I'm saying. Like, especially with AMD drivers, actually with both, you can't just go and grab the latest. You kind of have to do a little bit of research, find out what your mining software that you're using, Phoenix Miner, T-Rex, you know, whatever. You need to find out which drivers it's going to work with ETCHASH specifically, right? So you kind of have to do a little bit of homework and figure that out. You should be able to figure it out pretty easily. Just go to their Bitcoin Talk thread, or Vosscoin Talk, if he's got a thread on there about specific miners. I'm not sure. So just do a little bit of homework, figure that out. It looks like that is the key, is the actual drivers, the software, the drivers matching the miner that you're using. And it's based on the miner that you're using. So something else that's kind of cool here is that before the Thanos hard fork, according to HiveOS public stats here, 3 and 4 gig GPUs made up about 30% of the total number of GPUs that are currently mining. And it looks like, if I did my math right, and I probably didn't, but it looks like if you total these up now, it comes up to more than 30%. I think it's more like 44%, somewhere around in there total, of these lower GPU, these lower capacity GPUs. I don't know, we can probably add that up again really quick. I think it does come up to like 44. So now what I noticed is this didn't really change from, they had a little graphic on like in one of their blog, but the numbers didn't change that much. Maybe this one did on the 1060s, but yeah, it seems like about 44% as far as the number of GPUs. Anyway, now I don't know, I'm probably looking at the wrong specific number here. I'm probably thinking of one thing and looking at something else, but that's a lot of GPUs. I mean, a lot of 4 gig out there, and I would imagine that over time these are going to switch over to ETC, which I don't know if they are. They probably are now, but you know, the 4 gig GPUs are kind of like on their last leg with mining Ethereum. You know, there's what LOL Miner has, zombie mode or something like that, where you can mine Ethereum, even though the DAG is too large for 4 gig GPUs. But the problem is that over time, it's going to decrease in profit because of the DAG size. So zombie mode is like just a temporary thing, right? It's not going to go on forever. Eventually, these 4 gig are not going to be profitable, and people are going to switch over to the ETC or some other project that has a smaller DAG. And if you go over here to MinerStats DAG Calculator, you can see those projects in here. So you can see that ETH is all the way up to 4, basically, and then ELO would be the next closest one. But that's going to be the 7th of December for 3 gig will be the end of that. And you can just kind of go down through the line here. Hey, thanks Mr. Bosnia for the $5 super chat. That's awesome. I think I got your name right there. It's kind of small on my screen. Yeah, thanks so much, man. I appreciate that. So this is a good resource for figuring out what projects to mine. I'll drop that in the chat. I'm going to try not to get distracted by the chat because you guys do that to me all the time, and then I forget what I'm doing. Yeah, smash the like, guys. Thanks. Yeah, Mr. Bosnia, thanks so much, man. Again. All right. So about 44% are less than 3 gig, or 4 gig, sorry. ETH currently has a network, Ethereum, now I'm not talking about Ethereum Classic. Ethereum currently has about 282 terahash network, and that increased, I thought it would decrease a little bit, but it actually increased since Saturday from 260 terahash. Now, it's probably due to the value increase of Ethereum, in general, right? Because because this is going up, people are throwing their miners back on it. So that's probably why the hash rate is increasing. I would imagine that if Ethereum, the value had gone down or stayed the same, that you would see a little bit of a different scenario because people would be probably changing those 4 gig and less GPUs over to Ethereum Classic. But it is what it is. That's the way it worked, and we kind of have to just deal with it. So let's look at the hash rate of Ethereum Classic. So right now it's at 5.05 terahash. I think it made it up to 5. Let's see here. It was pretty high. Actually, yeah, over 6. So 6.24 right after the fork. So the fork was right here on November 28th, and it was about 3.5 then. And it quickly shot up to 6.24. Now it's probably because the profits were going down so fast, people switched off of it, and now it's kind of leveled out. Oh, thanks so much. I love that name. Vita. I'll just call you Vita. I know it's Vitalik, but thanks so much, man. So yeah, it's now kind of leveled off. It looks like it's staying around the 5 terahash. Now, I think that probably by Christmas, you're going to see it actually double from right here. I think that will probably go up. And I say Christmas because of the Ethereum going off, not being able to be mined anymore with 4 gig GPUs. So I would imagine that a lot more GPUs are going to be turned back onto Ethereum Classic as long as the value is high enough to make sense, profitability and stuff like that. If you go back over to what to mine, just look at something real generic here. We'll just look at a 8 gig 580 rig, or I'm sorry, an 8 GPU 580 rig, and you can see that Ethereum Classic dropped pretty far down here as far as profitability, although I don't think that this is right. And I'm saying that I don't think this is right. I think that maybe there's a problem with the calculation still, because if you just go to like 1 GPU, let's go to one 5700. Let's do that. Yeah, see, it pulls it back up here to about $1 a day. So it's not way different, right, than Ethereum. I mean, it's about half, which is, not terrible. I think that it was pretty high there before the fork. I think it was really close to, I don't remember. It seems like it was closer to the value or the profit each day as Ethereum, but I could be wrong there. I don't know. Seems like it was, though, as I was looking at it before. It's not normal to see Ravencoin above Ethereum Classic, although I don't look at this particular GPU a lot. So maybe that is normal, but I'm on my rigs. Like if you just go to Dagobah here, you know, it's hardly ever up here like that. Ravencoin's not, and it's usually Ethereum or nice hash Ethereum and then Ethereum Classic. That's usually the way it works. Anyway, all right, let's move on here. So yeah, if you look at my tweet, I tweeted this out, I think yesterday. So the hash rate actually increased by about 75%. The difficulty increased by about 50%. And again, this is just a snapshot in time. You know, guys, how things change daily or by the minute. You know how that works. So, but I wanted to show like this was a pretty big increase. 75% in a day was pretty significant. And I said here, let's see how December 25th and beyond brings, because, like I said before, that's whenever basically 4 gig GPUs on Ethereum are not going to be mining Ethereum anymore if they want to remain in profit. So anyway, so yeah, ETC went from about 3.86 or 3.5 to 5.18. They actually went up above 6, you know, terahash there on Saturday or Sunday, it looks like. So with the exclusion of ASICs and the resurgence of mining with the 3 gig GPUs, I'm thinking that it's going to increase by about 4 terahash since the fork. So basically just doubling. Because as these miners leave Ethereum with their 4 gig GPUs, I'm going to guess that you'll probably see about 8.7 terahash by Christmas. If I was to just throw a random guess out there, 8.75 terahash by Christmas on the ETC network. Some really good news is that it doesn't look like ASIC manufacturers are releasing a firmware update for this new algorithm, and they're not going to make miners specifically for it. But who knows? I mean, look, if ETC value goes crazy and goes to $20 or $30 or whatever, you can bet that somehow they're going to make an ASIC for it. So that's just how that works. It's all about money. It's all about finance. It's all about whether or not it's worth it to actually do it. So don't forget about that. So let's talk about the actual mining algorithm itself. It did change to ETCHASH algo. That is their new algo. It's a variation of the regular ETHASH. And the hash rate and overclock settings should remain mostly constant. Although I saw a pretty big, significant increase in hash rate switching from ETHASH on Ethereum Classic to ETCHASH on Ethereum Classic on the same rig, same settings and all that. I went from 150 megahash to 180 megahash. So whatever the percentage is there, that was a pretty big increase. This rig right here went from, it was at 151, I believe, 151 megahash, and now it's at 188. That's pretty solid. That's a solid increase. And this is on LOL miner. And it's a NVIDIA rig, 6 GPU NVIDIA rig. I don't know, it probably says that on here somewhere. Yeah, it looks like this. So I mean, look at like a regular 1080 is getting 33 megahash. 33 and a half actually, right here. So I could probably push these a lot harder. I've got pretty reasonable low OC in here, low power also. I could probably push them and get quite a bit more, but I'm more about efficiency at this point. And plus my temperatures kind of run crazy sometimes because this rig is in the vault, so the temperatures aren't great in there right now. So not a big change on the hash rate side. I mean, it was a big change for me because of the 10 series cards, but I don't know how it is with other GPUs. I've only done NVIDIA right now. I haven't even messed around with any AMD GPUs on ETCHASH. But these are the minor versions here and which versions you need or later in order to mine on ETCHASH. And then I've also included here the variable or the switch or the parameter that you need to add to each one to the miner options of each one in order to mine ETCHASH. There was some other settings in here for managing the transition from ETHASH to ETCHASH. You don't have to worry about that now because that's already done. So now you would be looking at the settings that have to do with just ETCHASH itself. You don't have to worry about those specific at block 11,700, 11,700,000. You know, do this. That's, you don't have to worry about that anymore. So eventually, what can we expect as time goes on? Eventually, I said this a little bit earlier, eventually the 4-gig GPU miners are going to start moving away from Ethereum and most likely over to ETC or some other profitable project. And that's going to happen as their profits are going to continue to drop due to the DAG file increasing and mining performance dropping on those GPUs as a result. At some point, it's just going to make more sense for them to switch to something else like ETC, as long as ETC's value stays up. So I'm going to check the chat real quick, and that is going to do it for me. What is going on, guys? Let's see what we got. You guys are staying pretty busy over here in the chat. That's good to see. Yeah, thanks for the super chat, guys. I really appreciate that. Oh yeah, I can show you my payout too. Let me do that real quick too. So I turned this rig over to Ethereum Classic on Saturday at the fork. So it was actually mining through the fork on that video. And I didn't even show you that too. Yeah, here's the video. Let me drop that in there too. If you want to watch the fork live, I'll drop this in the chat as well. So this was the live fork. It looks like it happened around 3 minutes and 50 seconds into this, maybe. Let's see where. So it looks like it was around three minutes 14 seconds into the video. You can see right here the block number only had one more to go. So about 3 minutes and 14 seconds in. So you can watch that happen, and then I think I switch over to my rig real quick to see what it was doing at the time. So we mined, so we mined right through it. It switched over, and you can almost see, I wish I could have scrolled up here because we could have seen the hash rate and how it just jumped really quick, but I couldn't scroll that screen for some reason. I think I was just in the shell inside of Hive OS, so that's why that didn't work. But yeah, it was really cool. It just switched right over, switched to ETCHASH, and didn't have any problems. As far as my payout, you can see right here, looks like I have earned since Saturday on that little 6 GPU rig with 180 mega hash, I've earned 1.2 ETC. So I'm gonna let that go. I'm probably gonna let it go until I see the profits drop pretty far. I'm just gonna let it rock on this just because you know, like doing this for the streams and showing how mining is actually working in the real world and all that stuff, so you guys can see it real time. Checking the chat again, seeing what you guys are, if anybody's asking me any questions or anything. Doesn't look like it. What's up, Dan the Dane? What's up? There's like 24 people in here, so I can't really name everybody, but what's up, Nemesis? What's up, Max Voltage? Mr. Bosnia's in here, Swamp 7. I think I said Dan the Dane already. What's up, man? Batman, what is up? Alright guys, that is going to do it for me. I went way longer than I wanted to. I wanted this to be like a 10-minute stream, but you guys always get me all distracted and everything, so appreciate it. If you found this video helpful or at least entertaining, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and click the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And if you would, let's keep the conversation going down in the comments, because I want to know what you think of the ETC hard fork to ETCHASH, whether or not they'll eventually actually go to SHA-3, or if they are planning on sticking to ETCHASH. Will you be supporting the network with your hash power? Let us know in the comments below. And I think that that's going to do it for me. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow night. I'll probably have something else because there's a lot going on tomorrow. There's ETH 2 is launching tomorrow. I don't know what time, but that is, today's the last day. It's supposed to happen on December 1st. I don't know if that means midnight or what. But they met their threshold, so now ETH 2 is going to launch, the beacon chain and all that. So the Genesis block for that will launch sometime tomorrow. And so we'll probably talk about that and see what's going on with that. And yeah, stay savage, everybody.